Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, I'm going to convert my all-wheel drive Stagea to rear-wheel drive. It's super simple, it's 4 bolts, let's do it. Okay, so first thing first, make sure you jack the car up. I like to use a jack to also support the cross member, just for that little bit of extra safety. I'm very paranoid about dying. I don't want to die under my car. Alright, so now that the car's in the air, I'm going to get underneath. I'm going to slide in. So here's the gearbox. Here's the transfer case. And so this is what sends the power forwards along this prop shaft to the front diff, which is in the sump. Yes, it's annoying. So this shaft is what we're removing. This is the prop shaft. Okay, so at the back here, it's just a spline setup. There's nothing holding it in there other than the pressure of the shaft just kind of being pushed that way. So once we unbolt the other end at the front, there, this whole thing will just kind of fall down slightly and we pull it out and the rear will just pull out easily. These are the heads of the bolts we need to get. There's 4 of them and this whole section will rotate slightly so you can reach each of them. I think stock they come with a 12mm head. Mine, for whatever reason, have some that are 12mm and some that are 13mm. I don't know if that's the stock setup. I don't think it is. I would say that they're all supposed to be 12mm for the head and for the nut. But I will say that these do round quite easily. So my biggest recommendation is make sure you use a 6-point so you can really hold the side still without it kind of slipping inside of a 12-point. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and loosen them now. Alright, so now those 2 are out. I'm going to rotate the whole shaft so I can access the other 2. There we go. So just remove those 2 as well. Alright, so now those 4 bolts are undone that holds the prop shaft to the front diff. It's just a case of trying to lever this prop shaft kind of down and away from that. It is quite tight up against that flange, so you can't really, I've found I haven't been able to just pull it out. So using something to help pry it out a little bit helps, from what I found. There we go, and you can see it's separated from the front flange there just a little bit. And that's usually all you need. Should be able to see. We can move them by hand and separate them a little bit. That's cool. So just give it a jiggle. Pull it away. There we go. So now that's loose and it's only been held in at the back by the splines into the transfer case. So then in theory all we do is give it a bit of a pull. And this can be a bit tricky in there as well. You can see there's already a bit of movement there. So see those splines there? That's all that's kind of holding it in to the transfer case. So you can move it in and out fairly easily. Bit of a pull, and out she comes all the way. You got to maneuver it over your clutch line. If you have a clutch, obviously being manual, I have that in the way. And that's it. That's my prop shaft out of the vehicle. The front just has that flange that just stays like that. The transfer case is a sealed spline unit, so we don't need to do anything there. So this just goes in the garbage. And so here's a bit of a closer look at the spline setup into the transfer case. That's it there. It's a sealed unit, there's nothing to worry about, so you just pull it out and call it a day. And so there you go, that is the prop shaft removed. Alright, so with the prop shaft removed, there is one more thing that needs to be done to truly make this setup rear-wheel drive, and this is really just for the safety of the clutch packs in the transfer case, as far as my understanding goes. So there is some electronic control of how the system works. So really, all we need to do is pop this fuse box off, if I can remember how to do it. Hang on a sec. Okay, so now with the fuse box cover off, we can actually see what we're trying to do. So this is the relay that we want to remove. It says here 4-wheel drive, so it's the third one up from the bottom, at least on my Series 1 Stagea. So this relay here, so there's a little tab at the side here. You can just kind of slightly pry out with a flathead screwdriver, and then once that's out, you can kind of jiggle this up, and eventually it'll get past the little tab on the side there. Just keep pulling it up, and there you go. So we'll just keep that out. We can chuck that in the glove box just in case we want to put it back in for any reason, but realistically that can just stay out of the car for now. Put this cover back on the fuse box, and there we go. And so doing that, now there's nothing to put any pressure on the clutch packs in the transfer case at all now. So we've taken care of the electronic control, which would be adding pressure. And we've also removed the physical connection, which was the prop shaft down the bottom, which would be putting preload from the front diff back in towards the transfer case. So we've taken care of the issue from both ends, just to protect our transfer case. And that's good, because these transfer cases are not cheap anymore. This also means that you can reverse this process at any time. You can put the prop shaft back in down the bottom, put the bolts back in, no problems, pop the relay back in, and re-engage the whole electronic system, and off you go as all-wheel drive, like it was from the factory. And so there you go, just like that. We've got the prop shaft out, the car is now rear-wheel drive. Obviously a lot nicer for a manual setup like mine is, but it is still a lot of fun in an automatic setup. I know from first-hand experience, because I did that before I manually converted this. So that's it guys, enjoy, go out and get some sliding done. Catch you later.